Good afternoon. Now your STV news, including the headlines for Dundee. A campaign has been launched to drain and fill in a Fife quarry where 4 people have died. The mother of one of the victims is calling for a fatal accident inquiry to examine 3 of the deaths which have happened at Preston Hill Quarry since 2014.
I hope that the public interest angle will be sufficient grounds to hold a fatal accident inquiry. These 3 deaths are completely different in nature and the circumstances surrounding them were all different, but they were all in the same location. I think if these deaths had occurred on the road or somewhere that's publicly managed, then something more would be done.
A teenager has been detained for 9 years for the murder of 16-year-old Luke Wallace in Glasgow. The teenager, who cannot be named for legal reasons, stabbed Wallace during a confrontation in Bulletin in June 2016. Scots caught up in the terror attack in Barcelona have been describing the shocking scenes they witnessed as a van ploughed into crowds in Catalonia, killing 14 and injuring dozens. Glasgow University rector Amar Anwar witnessed the attack and saw people screaming for missing loved ones.
I heard this crashing sound, people screaming. I turned around, hundreds of people were running, instinctively started to run. I stopped, hundreds were still running, people were jumping into shops, people pulling their kids out of prams. I saw a woman screaming, she was hysterical because she couldn't find her children. A man who was crying, a Bengali man who I spoke to, said he'd seen the van crash into the crowd. He thought 5 or 6 people were dead. I could see just behind where you are, where the van stopped. And it was like people had cleared from that area and hundreds were still running, and then we were pushed back.
To football, and Aberdeen have been fined €10,000 by UEFA after crowd trouble in their Europa League qualifying match in Cyprus. Travelling supporters clashed with stewards and police following the 2-0 defeat by Apollon Limassol at the start of the month. The Cypriots were fined €27,500. Well, we may never find out why the chicken crossed the road, but at a Highland Perthshire hotel, they're making sure they do it safely. The free-range hens at Glenshieling House in Blairgowrie have been fitted with their own high-vis jackets. The venue's owners took the unusual step after noticing one of their birds had a tendency to wander away from home. And the main stories in Dundee. A lorry driver who caused the death of a Dundee pensioner in a crash on the A90 has been spared jail. Glenn Craib was given a 250-hour community payback order and banned from driving for 30 months. And a teenager is to stand trial accused of extorting hundreds of pounds from Dundee United chairman Stephen Thompson by threatening to expose his infidelity to the media and his family. 19-year-old Aisling Ironside is alleged to have carried out the crime in November last year. Well, that's all we've got time for just now. Remember, you can join us for the STV News at 6. But first, here's a look at the weather forecast. Bye-bye.
STV Weather, sponsored by Thompson. STV Weather, sponsored by Thompson.